Garcia and Dwayne Johnson are making their way to the XFL field.
I go my way!
Everything that we've done in the last 30 years has led to this moment for us.
My dream was to play in the league, and I got passed up. Years later, we have this opportunity to make players' dreams come true.
And I won't stop until I'm done.
When the XFL 2.0 launched, I saw this incredible vision and dream spark something so special for players and for the coaches and for the fans.
Pretty emotional day for me. We worked so hard to do this the right way. We've been working at it for about a year and a half, and now it feels like we're back at football.
And now we have this opportunity for players who live their dream. They could work their asses off, and they could take care of their families. And thank you guys very much for believing in our vision.
This is the most amazing thing we've ever been blessed to do. To make this dream become legacy for everyone involved.
What is up, my friends? And welcome to another edition of the XFL Weekend Review. I'm your pal, your host, Mark Perry, editor of XFL News Hub. And on this week's show, you just heard from Danny Garcia and The Rock talking about stuff coming up and how excited they are. That was video from their coaches symposium that took place a couple weeks ago. On this week's show, we're going to talk about the Players Showcase coming up. Announcements coming this week from both Danny and The Rock. They said it was. And where the heck was I last week? I'm going to talk all about that and so much more. So if you want to be part of the show, email podcast at XFL News Hub with your thoughts, or record an MP3 or video on your phone. We'll play it on next week's show. 888-430-7692, extension 3. I got to get my voice back. Leave us a review. Apple Podcasts. We're on Stitcher, Audible Player FM, Amazon, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. 5 stars would be great. We'll read it on the show. Plus, you're on Spotify there as well. And you can watch us live, back at it again. XFL Weekend Review live at 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday on the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And the timeline, my friends. This, I did not change it, other than we are 276 days from XFL kickoff. XFL Player Showcase, we've been telling you for months. June 18th, 2022, XFL Player Showcase. Well, now we have real dates, June 17th and June 19th, and so much more. We'll get into that in the show. January 9th, 2023, XFL Training Camp begins, which Danny Garcia and The Rock both announced. When that date, they said a year from now. So XFL February 18th, 2023, the season begins. That hasn't been officially announced yet. We'll get into all that stuff. We've got a ton of news because we were not here last week. I was not here last week because I had surgery on Monday. I'm all good. It was a hernia surgery. I mean, lifting weights. I'm not lifting the weights like The Rock, but I was a trainer, part-time trainer for a long time. And I don't know if it was from all the running I was doing to lead up to the Disney Marathon, or I lifted something, or who knows. But it just kept getting worse and worse, and so I finally got it taken care of. A lot more extensive than I thought it was going to be, as far as bruising. And, this is the first day that I'm kind of like a little bit more mobile. I mean, I was basically in bed the first couple days, but lots of bruising, but feeling better each day. And getting back at it. So we're going to do this show this week. We're not going to do the USFL show because it's the first time I've actually been standing for more than like a little bit. Actually, today's the first day I've stood the most. And the CFL show that we usually do on Wednesdays, all the drama going on with the CFL and the strike happening, that's also not going to happen. But that's because it's my wife and I's anniversary. So I can't be like, let's do this some other time, babe. So do my husband duties. So that's on Wednesday. But we got a ton of XFL news. The Player Showcase announcements coming this week. We've got so much to get to. So without further ado, folks. Oh, hey, before we get started on the news, if you like football, smash that like button, subscribe to our channel. Let's get this episode up to 60 likes. People are interested in what's going on with the XFL. And to be honest with you, as I cover the CFL and USFL, there's more people interested, in my opinion, in XFL stuff. It moves the needle way more than the USFL and CFL does. Sorry, that's just the truth. But we'll get into all that. We got fan control football stuff, so much things. So without further ado, folks, let's just get into the week that was the XFL. XFL co-owner and chairwoman Danny Garcia teases big XFL announcement this week. So this happened today. So XFL co-owner and chairwoman Danny Garcia teased a big announcement coming from the XFL this week. Our own Jay Noakes posted this via his Twitter. He was the one that kind of brought it to everybody's attention. This is what she said, quote, I like what, so it's a picture of Danny Garcia walking on the streets in New York. She says, I like walking into an eventful week in NYC. XFL announcements coming soon with a bunch of lightning bolts going on there. So like very cool there. I guess I could play it because her video, but it's got some music to it. But no, it's not working. Okay. But that was her little video on there. So New York City, of course, is the home of Redbird Capital Partners and not too far away from ESPN Studios at Pier 17 South Street Seaport. Been there when I was a kid. Could we see a big TV announcement on ESPN this week? Sources have told us that team names and locations won't happen till this summer. I repeat, won't happen till this summer. That was the word summer. As stadium deals, discussions are ongoing and fluid. So that's what I do. My point of this all, and I think one of the guys, Sam or something, was saying that this caused quite a little stir on the Reddit. That's what we're hearing. I think this is a TV deal. So over the last several weeks, we've gotten new hires, player showcase timeline, new partnerships. So aside from team names and location, the main piece of the puzzle missing is a TV deal. Now here's why I'm even leading towards this even more. The XFL announced its TV deal when? In May of 2019. What month are we in right now? May. So now could be the time. The XFL 3.0 era has been following the XFL 2.0 timeline, team names and logos, by the way. Also what they were talking about summer. Same thing. August 2019. So I don't think we'll get team names and logos until August 2019. I think this week is going to be the TV deal, laying the groundwork for everything to come. Now, our man Mike Mitchell had pointed out in our chat room that that the upfronts are this week in New York City. So that's television stuff. That's people making their schedule for the fall. This is the time to drop it. He also mentioned that Disney is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday at 4:00. So if there's some kind of partnership between Disney, ABC, ESPN, everybody thinks that XFL is doing something with ABC and ESPN. Clearly, with all the things that have been going on, but who knows? Also, one of the interesting things when it comes to TV deals that's been kind of out there. Have you heard the chatter about live programming coming to Netflix? Would be perfect opportunity for XFL to be some kind of live sporting event going on Netflix. That would be huge because Netflix lost 200,000 subscribers in a quarter. That was big, and that could be. That's the piece that they're missing is live television, and sports and live television go hand in hand. Now Garcia purchased of the XFL made her the first woman to own an equal or majority ownership stake in a major professional sports league in the United States. Garcia, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson of Redbird Capital Partners purchased the XFL out of bankruptcy in August of 2020. The XFL is expected to kick off in February of 2023. Now, DJ, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who I've been watching Ballers, by the way, and I'm really enjoying it. He posted this not too long ago. He said, call me crazy, and many do. There's something cool and special in the air about our XFL 2023 launch. Our XFL will soon humbly take the field in stadiums across the country. So if there was ever wonder that they were going to play in a hub field, do the hub thing, that got put to rest. We put it out there. Mike Mitchell put it out there. Fans were not too happy about that. I think the league might have changed course when they kind of got the flavor from the fans. So there you go. So it's going to be in stadiums. We believe it will be like the hub setting where they'll practice and play a practice in Texas and then fly to their home cities, which I think is a great idea. So tuning dreams into reality and delivering for the fans. Big announcements, plural, this week. I noticed Danny Garcia on hers said XFL announcement coming soon. He said announcements. I know. You think I'm crazy. But so something is going to come potentially tomorrow on Tuesday. If it's something big like the television deal, we will have a live show. If it happens Tuesday, right at, Tuesday night to talk about that and any other kind of big, if it's some kind of big announcements. But I have a feeling TV is where we're going to see this week, possibly tomorrow, Tuesday, May 17th. So the XFL announced it's bringing back what they're calling it the Player Showcase Series to 6 cities across the United States of America. That's right. The XFL announced that will host a series of player showcases across the United States in June and July in partnership with American National Combine, ANC. These showcases will give prospective football players a chance to exhibit their skills in front of XFL coaches and player personnel. Players will be evaluated based on performance for inclusion in the XFL draft pool for the upcoming 2023 season. So we have the full thing here. Quote, "We're excited to kick off the showcase series and beginning open more doors for aspiring football players across the entire country." Danny Garcia, chairwoman and owner. Our intentional showcase locations such as Jackson State, one of the largest HBCUs in the country, and our Hawaii showcase location, yes, XFL, you can fly me out there, are direct reflections of our XFL core values of diversity, inclusivity, and accessibility. As an organization and league, we will continue to push the boundaries and unlock new opportunities to advance the game of football. Goes on, these showcases that was from Danny Garcia, these showcases are an incredible opportunity for passionate players to show up and ball out for a chance to join the XFL, said Dwayne Johnson, owner. The XFL is all about being at an intersection of dreams and opportunity. It is our goal to make football more accessible to more players, and our highly experienced team of coaches and personnel directors are ready to help make these professional football dreams come true. The door is open for elite talent across the country to join XFL, including my home state of Hawaii. Aloha. Mahalo. I'm looking forward to seeing these players bring their best and leaving it on the field. Russ Brandon, XFL president, added, "We are ready to discover and evaluate seasoned athletes looking to compete in dynamic, fast-paced game and grow professionally with the XFL. Our football operations teams continue to gain momentum, and our head coaches are eager to seek fresh talent out for the 2023 season. This will be exciting summer ahead. We're looking forward to seeing the turnout at all of our events." So registration, showcases.xfl.com is where you kind of go everything. So here are the locations. XFL are in Washington, D.C., Friday, June 17th. That's my neck of the woods. I'm not going to be in the state at the time, but I don't know. This is not, from what we're hearing, not open to the public, and I'm not even sure if it'll be open to the press. It's how I'm getting that vibe. Then on June 19th in Bradenton, Florida at the IMG Academy. So they'll be at University of Maryland on Friday. Then everybody will fly out to IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. Then they'll take a little break because of the July 4th holidays, etc., the end of June. Then they'll crank it up in June 25th at Saturday at McKinley High School in Honolulu, Hawaii. Probably chill out there a little bit for that weekend. Then you got July 4th. Then you're going to get back July 16th, HBCU at Jackson State, Jackson, Mississippi. Bet you bottom dollar Deion Sanders is going to be there. XFL in Arizona, July 22nd, Arizona State University, Tempe, Arizona. Interesting out there. No California on this list. Then the XFL showcase in Coachella Stadium, Arlington, Texas, Saturday, July 24th, 2022. Probably the home of the Dallas Renegades franchise is just my guess. This is what the registration looks like. You can register for the DC, the Hawaii and HBCU are invite only and are closed, but you can still register for these other events. So if I was to do DC, let's just click on it. I'll let that load. Some FAQs, frequently asked information. They're going to test you on drills, defense start time, cost. There is a cost to it. So $250 player registration. Fees include player registration, results, lunchbox lunch and refreshments, 410. You get the player registration plus video package, so you get all that. And showcase location transfer players are permitted to transfer. Showcase player sample. I didn't see this. So this is kind of cool. This is the video, I guess, you get. They're showing what kind of, the XFL. So you can see that you kind of get this video out. This video is kind of what you get. Player eligibility. Player has graduated from high school in the year of 2019 or earlier, or has exhausted collegiate football eligibility. No more than 4 years have elapsed since a player's last collegiate or professional football game. So that's interesting. 4 years have elapsed since the last player's collegiate or pro football game. So, I mean, this still clearly keeps the door open for XFL players, even if they hadn't done anything. But, guys that have not played. I mean, T.O. is available. Terrell Owens, he's playing in fan control football. That's professional football league. He can come on that. Player is not under contract by any other professional football league. Player is not currently a member of a collegiate football team for the 2022 seasons. Specialists. This was Ask if XFL will be announcing a showcase specific to specialists at a later date. Stay tuned at xfl.com. So that's your kickers and punters. We've been getting questions about that. So specialists, they're going to announce something too. Limited space. Athletes are encouraged to register as early as possible to ensure admission, and then refund and weather policies. All the tests that they're going to do, 3-cone drill, QB pocket movement, offensive start times, blah, blah, blah. So there you have all the details of the XFL. It's not summer showcase, it's player showcase series. They named it different. See, that picture that I have on the site is from the summer showcase. They're actually calling it player showcase. Kind of cool. I like just those little nuances of changing that they're doing. So we have a list up on players that have signed up to go. That's on XFL News Hub. Our man Sam is on top of that one. I believe it's Sam that is doing all of that. So he's, people are sending him stuff. So reach out to Sam on Twitter. He'll get your name added to a list. So building up a database of all the players going to the event. It should be cool. Also, you think it's cool, The Rock plans to appear at some of those things, including Hawaii. He was going to be in Hawaii. You know why? Because that's his old high school. So the scout is in full gear. Here's he talks about the showcases. He says 6 U.S. cities across our country select with diversity recruitment in mind, from our hungry HBCUs to iconic high school football hubs, and across the ocean to my home state of Hawaii, where we will conduct our first ever XFL Polynesian showcase to evaluate all talented Polynesian football players. Our Hawaii showcase will be held at my alma mater, McKinley High School. He says, I'll be flying in to join ownership and XFL coaches from our Hawaii showcase, as well as others across the U.S. So he's going to be in a couple of them. So the X represents intersection of dreams and opportunity. You dream it, you work your butt off for it. We'll give you a shot to achieve it. That's DJ Dwayne Johnson, owner of the XFL. So even if these part of these summer showcases, even if you don't make it, you have an opportunity to meet Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Also, guarantee, because if you saw some of the videos that the XFL has been coming out with, you get the sense that they're already producing stuff. $7 Productions is going to be behind stuff. There's been all sorts of talk. Mike Mitchell has been reporting about some kind of TV show. The USFL is kind of doing one with the NFL Films. Guarantee this is going to be a buildup of the XFL. It would be fantastic for that show to debut in the fall to get people excited. They would be great that they wouldn't just put it 30 minutes on before kickoff of a football game, but rather its own time slot, whether it's on Netflix or it's on NBC, which I don't know because NBC is working with the USFL, so who knows what's going on there. We will see how this goes, but this is an exciting time. Guarantee cameras will be out there. It's not open to the fans. Hopefully we can get some of our guys from XFL News Hub to go check out these events in person and bring you back a full report. Hey, that's me. XFL has made some hires over the past 2 weeks. Kerry Gordon joins XFL as Vice President of Health and Safety. That's something that I did not remember, the old one. So Gordon brings extensive experience as a licensed athletic trainer, including 15 years consulting in the NFL. So Gordon will oversee health and safety policies, procedures, and protocols for the league, focusing on providing premium care and well-being for all XFL athletes, in addition to directing the XFL's 8 teams' athletic training departments. She will report to Mark Ross, Executive Vice President of Football Operations. Danny Garcia has a lot to say about her. Impressive background working with the NFL and Cirque du Soleil speaks for itself. We're lucky to have her. So a critical hire. So basically, in her role, Gordon will be responsible for all aspects of the league's health and safety program, which includes initiatives to establish holistic well-being both on and off the field. And remember, now the fact that they're going to be all in one central location, it makes this easier to manage. So as a liaison between the league and the teams, she will establish and maintain strategic relationships between physicians, hospital administrations, trainers, and athletes, and all 8 team markets to ensure XFL policies and procedures are being upheld. On the team level, Gordon will oversee each team's athletic training department, including hiring, supervising, evaluating teams' athletic trainers, as well as providing education and training to athletic trainers, staff, and coaches. So she's in charge of all that stuff. Did not hear about this job when the original XFL 2.0 came out. Of course, seasoned industry veteran. So here's the interesting thing about her. Gordon joins the XFL, brings 21 years of experience as a licensed athletic trainer, including 15 seasons consulting in the NFL with the Eagles, Chiefs, Los Angeles Rams, 1 season with the NBA LA Clippers, and 11 years full-time at Cirque du Soleil. You don't even think about Cirque du Soleil as needing a trainer, but yeah, when you see those shows, you'll definitely tell why. Here's the funny part. Gordon began her career in 2000 as a seasonal intern athletic trainer with the Los Angeles Extreme, one of the 8 original teams formed in the XFL's inaugural season and the first XFL championship team. Yes, the XFL 3.0 era actually mentioned the 1.0 era, something the USFL pretends doesn't exist. I'll just leave that there. So she, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, master's degree of physical education, athletic training from University of South Carolina. So definitely has a great background. Really interesting that the league would pick that this was very important for them to announce. But, between Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia, fitness is clearly a big thing to them. So congratulations to Kerry Gordon for joining the team and a 1.0 era XFL intern. How cool is that? I love that part. Another person that came on board, XFL names Erica Mollman as Senior Vice President of Team Services. So they announced she will serve as a liaison between the league's business operations departments, ticketing, communications, marketing, and content, and all 8 teams to implement best business practices, create synergistic opportunities, while also curating to each of the market's unique demands. She will report to Janet Dutch, Chief Marketing and Content Officer. You remember Janet was the team president of the New York Guardians, and now she's back doing that as well. We're very pleased for Erica to join, bringing her wealth of expertise across professional sports, and that's from Russ Brandon, president of the XFL. In this role, Mollman will manage day-to-day business operations for each of the 8 teams, including develop a consultative model to optimize market inputs and executing growth strategies at local markets as the XFL prepares for its 2023 season. These guys aren't playing around, man. Mollman will also implement and lead community-focused engagement initiatives to promote team and league awareness and build a unique fandom in each city. That's awesome. I wonder if she is basically going to be the team president. I don't know if they're going to do team presidents. And I wonder if her, now that I'm just kind of reading this, is team services. I wonder if she's going to just kind of manage all of the teams. Since they'll be in one location. There's just really season ticket. You know what I mean? Like, they're just going to kind of have one team president, or are they going to have team presidents each city? I wonder if that's what her role will be. So once the season begins, Mollman will oversee day-to-day team activations, game day operations, and fan experiences. So I think she's at the top So it's an interesting thing. So Erica has extensive knowledge of corporate sponsorship marketing, but you kind of need boots on the ground for the local marketing part. We'll have to see what exactly that is. Build the league, blah, 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 blah. She joins the XFL from Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company, where she most recently served as Executive Vice President, New Business Development, Sales, Marketing, and Sales, overseeing all revenue-generating and marketing initiatives. Prior to that, served as Executive Vice President of Business Development for Pagula Sports and Entertainment, where she led sales of business initiatives to develop integrated sponsorship and other revenue-generating activities, including non-game events, premium seating, suites, and merchandise at New Era Field, KeyBank Center, and Blue Cross Arena. So she has that experience, held various roles and partnerships, started in marketing with, guess what? She worked for the Buffalo Bills. Shocker. IMG and Cleveland Browns, earned a master's degree at Consumer Industrial Research at Cleveland State University and Bachelor of Arts of Psychology from Ohio University. Fascinating, a little background there. So she's going to be in charge of all that kind of stuff. She's the Senior Vice President of Team Services. Is she the one that's going to kind of be the middle point? And then maybe I'm not sure they're going to do team presidents. Again, that was, we loved our team presidents. Be curious to see what team services and how that all trickles out for Erica. But we've got new hires on board with the XFL. Exciting times. XFL Senior Vice President of Player Personnel Doug Whaley completes his second GM interview with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So according to Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, XFL Senior Vice President of Player Personnel Doug Whaley completed his second interview with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is the third candidate to receive or be scheduled for a second interview. Tampa Bay Buccaneers VP John Spytek and Tennessee Titans VP Ryan Coden are the two others. Omar Khan and Brandon Hunt are also considered, currently working for the team of the Steelers. Steelers are looking to replace current GM Kevin Colbert, who is retiring. Whaley was, of course, the GM of the Buffalo Bills, 2013 to 2017. He did work as the Steelers pro personnel coordinator for 10 years before taking the Bills job. There are a lot of other former Buffalo Bills employees at the XFL, including President Russ Brandon, Executive Vice President of Football Operations Mark Ross, and you can also include Buffalo Bills head coach Wade Phillips to the mix. Whaley is a Pittsburgh native and attended Upper St. Clair High School before playing DB at the University of Pittsburgh. Some feel he is the front runner at this point with all of his ties to the city and team. If he leaves, question becomes who replaces him. Mark Cash just had on, or Galco, would they try to bring him? Galco served as Director of Player Personnel for the XFL 2.0 era and did a fantastic job by all accounts. He's currently the Director of Football Operations and Player Personnel for the nation's longest-running college football all-star game, the East-West Shrine Bowl. So keep an eye on this. Rumor has it that Doug Whaley is the top guy with all of his connections to Pittsburgh. Why he would take that to go to his hometown team, but we'll just have to wait and find out. But I have a feeling that Doug Whaley could be your GM for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't want to hear about it, Buffalo Bill fans, so I don't want to hear about it. But definitely a smart dude, and we'll see how this all transpires. The XFL announces scouting and consulting partnerships ahead of its 2023 season. So this dropped last week. The XFL announced scouting and consulting partnerships with Inside the League, ITL, and FBX Change, FBX, that will support and further enhance the XFL's football operations department as they prepare for the upcoming 2023 season. So since January, our football operations team has been busy attending the NFL Combine, All-Star and bowl games and college pro days to start identifying the next wave of rising stars in football, said Russ Brandon, XFL president. These partnerships are incremental to the fantastic team we have started to build at the XFL and will help improve efficiencies and round out capabilities across our football operations department. We are deeply value collaboration in all forms and working with Inside the League and FB Exchange. We are able to combine scouting efforts, expand our coverage of events, leverage premium data, and ultimately populate our player pool. We are looking forward to working together and recruiting high-quality talent players to create an elite football forum, So, founded by Neil Stratton, Inside the League is an online consultancy for professionals who work within the football ecosystem, including agents, financial planners, combine trainers, scouts, coaches, and more. Inside the League provides in-depth scouting reports written by former NFL scouts, verified measures for the 2021-2022 draft class, and a database of agents and other information of the 2017 to 22 draft classes. Inside the League recently helped facilitate an agent roundtable. We told you about that roundtable with the XFL and NFLPA as the XFL's football operations department continues to scout and recruit for its 2023 season. We talked about that. Doug Whaley talks about him. FBX Exchange is a one-of-a-kind interactive pro football player personnel system designed for teams, scouts, and operations staff with 15 years of historical player transaction and measurable data for pro circuits, all-star games, and combines. FBX is the only online, up-to-date database with the complete player history across all professional football leagues, including NFL, CFL, XFL, AAF, AFL, UFL, and WLAF. The XFL and FBX will work together to pair the resources from FBX's database with the XFL's player data to create the best-in-class player database. FBX will also assist the XFL in streamlining player signings and other contracts as well. Interesting news there. So the XFL continues to roll out these partnerships, new staff. These guys are taking it seriously. I've not seen this kind of rollout since the first XFL with all these partnerships, but it seems like maybe the XFL 3.0, they ain't playing around and they're taking things to another level. That's for sure. The announcement that you've all been waiting to hear. Major League Football announces its fourth head coach. I know, drum roll please. I know you guys are very excited. Forget about the XFL cities. Forget about fan control football and TO. Forget about all that stuff. Danny Garcia, The Rock, TV contracts, streaming services, head coach. We want to know. We've been waiting for years. Who is the fourth head coach of the Major League Football? So as we draw closer of having cleats in the grass, we'll see about that. Major League Football is pleased to announce that Ernest Wilson has been named our fourth and final head coach. Coach Wilson is a career coach who spent time in virtually every level of football, Division I, II, III, college ball, arena football, as well as spring league football. Resume is 32 years deep and carries respect and admiration of his peers. Good teacher, great guy, character guy. All traits MLFB is seeking to emulate. He fits our definition of coach perfectly. He says, quote, I want to help young players take steps to top the league in the NFL, CFL, wherever. Blah, 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 blah. Frank Murtha. Wilson was an early adopter of the air raid offense and has utilized the strategy throughout his coaching career. His adaptation of using running backs and tight ends in that discipline is what made it special. What is even more interesting is that he has built defensive units that have been just as effective. A wonderful football mind, great character, desire to help players get better, perfect fit for the world of Major League Football. So there you have it, as the Major League Football continues to make sure they get cleats in the grass this year, actually soon on their timeline, as I am skeptical, and so is a lot of other all football fans, but we threw it out there. There is your fourth head coach for the Major League Football. Cardale Jones, former DC Defenders quarterback, signs with the CFL's Edmonton Elks. Now, I met Cardale Jones. I have a picture with him with my daughter. Very nice guy, as much as we kind of, talk about the whole, I'll get into that in a minute. So Cardale Jones will be playing football again, but not for the XFL. The Edmonton Elks of the Canadian Football League announced last week that Jones is headed north. The former Ohio State Buckeye is replacing former teammate JT Barrett, who is out for the 2022 season due to an injury suffered in March. Barrett was placed on the Elks retired list to make room for Jones. Big signing there. This is not the first time Jones replaced Barrett on the field. Back in 2014, Barrett, the Buckeyes starter, suffered a season-ending injury. Jones came in, then led Ohio State to the 2014 National Championship. Jones was the 139th overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft for the Buffalo Bills. Notice the Buffalo Bills connection. with the guys in the XFL. Could have played, and why Cardale did not try to work out with the XFL. He was back up to E.J. Manuel, throwing for just 96 yards and 1 interception in one game. Jones was traded to the Los Angeles Chargers after his rookie season and released by the team in 2019. Stops with the Vegas Raiders in 2020 before joining the D.C. Defenders. Now, Jones played well in his first 2 XFL games before his play dropped off and was benched for Tyree Jackson. He threw 4 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in 5 games before the league shut down. In March, NFL, XFL, and CFL scouts got a peek of Jones throwing passes during the Buckeyes Pro Day. Maybe the Elks liked what they saw. Jones is 29 years old, and with the Buffalo Bills scouting connection with the XFL, the word might have gotten to Jones that the XFL 3-point era is not interested in him. The XFL is bringing back its summer showcases, of course, in 2023. Tryouts will be taking place from June to July across the U.S. Jones works as a chief talent officer at 10 Talents, a name, image, and likeness NIL agency for college athletes. No word on if Sonic 2 played a factor in this signing. Maybe the CFL feels like the curse is now broken. XFL fans know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Cardale Jones was playing great the first 2 weeks. Then Sonic the Hedgehog movie came out. He had tweeted that he went to go see it. And then ever since then, his play just plummeted. And so we've said that there's been the curse. Now they've come out with Sonic 2, which I want to take my wife and kids to go see. Maybe now the curse is lifted. They've got Sonic 2 out there, and now Cardale can tear things up in the CFL.
Stewart, quick out to Thomas, wide open to the 10, cuts it back, Schultze Thomas, end zone, touchdown Zappers. Instead, he'll have to throw from the very back of the end zone, going for it all, got a man, touchdown! What a play! Francois eludes Jones. He'll pick up the first down and then some. Francois still moving into the blue zone, to the end zone, touchdown! Away forward, but he'll pass here. And that's complete to Smith. Breaks the tackle. Jordan Smith will take him for a ride. Still moving. And finally, it takes 3 men to bring him down inside the 5.
So there you have it. Some fan control football highlights this week. This SB Stars lost to the Zappers. The Zappers got their first win, 24-28. Aoki lost 28-34 over the Kingpins. I was so disappointed. Watched that game. I'll tell you what, I'll be a little honest with you. I was kind of more interested in the fan control football game with my team Aoki than some of the USFL games. Just being honest. A lot of fun. I really, now that I understand it, and rest in peace, our man Josh Davis would cover the fan control football. I like it. I love the culture. There's young people at the game. They clearly have something going on, and it's fun. I call the plays on my phone. I have it up on the television watching the game. A lot of exciting action. They are Board Ape FC. They're 5-0. They won. They beat the Knights of Deegan 24-22. Glacier Boys 2-3, 34-18 over the Beasts. So there you have a Board Ape FC is your undefeated team. Aoki, my team, 2-3 on the season. Lots of fun every Saturday. You got 1:00 games, and then you got a set nighttime games as well every Saturday. I would love to go out there, just to have not with the surgery that basically has knocked me out until July to do any kind of major traveling. So, but a lot of fun. There's your update. Also, Fan Control Football made historic launch of digital collectible game highlight packs from Eternal GG. You know what I'm talking about. So a new partnership gives fans opportunities to own collectible FCF moments, including NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Owens' first FCF catch. So Fan Control Football, the only professional sports league that empowers fans to make key decisions of their favorite team, including play calling in real time. Today announced exclusive partnership with Eternal GG to create and sell, that's right, NFT-based game highlights. It's coming at you all angles, my friends. This is nothing new. An industry leader in digital collectibles, Eternal GG specializes in capturing in-stream moments and creating NFTs that can be purchased and sold on its marketplace. For the first time ever, fans can now own their favorite jaw-dropping moments from FC games by purchasing packs of the NFT digital collectibles, highlights including Hall of Famers and Zappers. Well, not Zappers anymore. Terrell Owens got traded, his first touchdown catch, and so much more. So the packs went live. They're $10 are selling them, and you know what your boy did. You know I bought some. So I bought one pack, a lot of fun. So I have Williams to close TD. Here is that highlight for you. We'll take a look at that. Or I have to rewind this. But here you go.
Jones, fumble. No one has it except KOD. A scoop and score for Nate Bresson. Wow, both Jones and Virgie ran different directions. I assume one of them had it.
It looked like they thought the quarterback kept the ball in that option.
I mean, just a miscommunication.
So that was one of them. That was KOD scoops up a turnover against KPN the first time with a botched snap fumble. D-Block notices the error, immediately capitalized on the situation. D-Block scores 18-2. So there's 120 in circulation, 91 are owned, and some of them are head impact. You get the idea. The next one, Zap executes a fantastic tip effort against GBZ following a turnover. The shutdown squad reminds GBZ who they are. They are covering Williams to the end zone against the quarterback. Here is the highlight. Let me rewind it.
Second and goal here from the 19 after the fumble. Izzy looking to make up for it. Up high, tipped away. Defensive coverage from Marquise Kane.
Going anywhere. Right here you see it's a perfect pocket. Wonderful throw. But Kane just plays inside the hands of the receiver and doesn't allow him to even attempt to catch the ball.
So that's my other one. And I got one more in my pack. I got KOD responds to a great catch against Zap. Crotch lofts it deep, and Williams pulls it down way over the defenders of the 1 yard line. Let's check it out.
Taking it downfield.
Nice catch.
Grabs, big time catch.
Wow, what
Jordan
a grab.
Williams.
Ruling on the field is a completed catch down by contact at the 1 yard line.
I mean, give the ball up in the
I think
air,
I watched this
allow the
game,
receiver
actually.
to make a play, and number 11, Williams.
I think I saw that play. So those are the things. It's just some fun digital collectible kind of thing that Fan Control Football is doing. Be prepared. The XFL is going to do it. A USFL, I have a USFL NFT as well. So just something to kind of keep your eye on if you're interested in collecting those kind of things. Of course, I'm open in the pack hoping for Aoki highlights in there, but I didn't get one yet. But you can see and you can sell them online, or I don't even know what they're going for. You can place them on sale, buy other ones, probably for $1 or $2. Again, just digital collectibles. We're getting into that new era, the NFT space. Did a whole talk on NFTs, so settle down. But they're fun. Just digital collectibles. That's all it is. And there you go. Fan Control Football is doing it. I expect the XFL to do it. And guess what? I'm going to buy a bunch of them. And so should you. It's all good. All right, my friends, we'll take a little commercial break. We'll be back with your social media stuff. We'll chat with you right after this. Stay tuned, my friends.
Coming up this week on the Markcast, big time guests. We have had our string of blockbuster guests on the show lately. This week is no different. We have Eric Galco, former director of player personnel for the XFL, now working with the Shrine Bowl. Eric is analyzing the spring football landscape, talking USFL, XFL, and more.
I think the successes that we had at the XFL, some were luck, some were, players being better than we expected. But a lot of it was long-term planning. And there's stories behind PJ Walker and Jordan Teamu and a lot of players that, hey, that wasn't here's a contract, come play. It was a year in the making and a lot of planning involved in that. So I think that's what I'm fascinated now is see what kind of major dominoes. I know those 10 poles you have to kind of hit, but what you don't see right now is what matters most.
Then I'm really proud of sourcing this one. We have Justin Freeman of RunTheSims.com coming on. Justin does all sorts of fantasy, DFS stuff, kind of over my head, but Justin is a great kind of outside the perspective we normally get on the podcast, talking pros and cons of the USFL, things they can be doing to incentivize more people to gamble and play fantasy on the league.
My sort of take on it, I have this sort of fantasy lens, is I want more information, and there is no Adam Schefter, there is no Ian Rappaport for this league who's going in and scooping all the news stories. We need somebody to tell us that, like, is there a quarterback controversy brewing in Michigan? Like, that'd be super cool to write a story on. I'd read that story, and kind of helps you get engaged with things throughout the course of the week.
And then longtime friend of the show, Paul Reese, comes back on, USFL historian, talking, thoughts midway through the USFL season, things that could be improved, things we're liking, things we don't like.
You had made the comment, go big or go home. And I think that applies to the way that they've dealt with the media. I think that they've chosen to stay home, unfortunately. I hope that strategy changes.
And then we have the looming CFL labor strikes, guys, tenuous times right now. Things could change by the minute, keeping everyone up to date with all of that, but lots of USFL and XFL talk this week. Thanks.
All right, my friends, we are back. Stock Speed Tech said hope surgery went all good. Yes, it's good. Just a little bruised up and getting better each day, starting to be able to sleep better, and appreciate that. Paul says, keep up the good work, brother. Thank you, Paul. God bless you, my friend. And Paladin Demo, team announcement soon, hopefully. Paladin, I hate to break it to you, my friends. I'm thinking August. Just putting it out there. Maybe before the NFL season kind of gets in full gear, but I think they're following that schedule. Hey, I'm all for it if it happens, but I'm thinking this summer. Dave says, is Houston big enough for the Roughnecks and the Gamblers? Do you think the XFL will pick a different city for the Roughnecks, especially after the bogus NFL logo lawsuit laws? No, I think it's all, like we've said, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas. It makes sense to have 3 teams in Texas. If you're going to do a hub season, it makes it easier. You can always go back to New York, and you can always go back to Los Angeles if things are opening up and are fine. I don't think they're worried about the Gamblers. Honestly, I'm not worried about the Gamblers either. The problem is with the USFL, what makes me concerned is they have to make a move to local cities next season. It has been across the board. It depends on what management. I mean, the problem is it's like the USFL is like a TV show for the network, Fox. I'm not a really fan of Fox. So, except for Family Guy. Fox News is terrible. All news is terrible. MSNBC too. Throw them all in there. CNN, they all suck. Don't watch them. That's how they're kind of treating it. And if they don't make a jump to a city, it's just not, the juice is not there, is that what I keep telling people all the time. I mean, people are watching it and they're tuning in. And if that's all they care about is, hey, we're getting 1 million views on a Saturday afternoon, that's all we care about. I don't really see them forking over the money to make the teams move. You need to move those. And even if they try to do the same model, they need to do the same model as the XFL next season. If they do the same thing they did this season, I think they'll make it to, they're definitely going to do, season 1 is fine and it will finish, and they'll do something the AAF and the XFL did not do. And that's make it. If I'm the XFL, I am not worried about the Houston Gamblers unless they are going to put teams. If the XFL wasn't lurking behind the scenes with the powerhouse of The Rock, Danny Garcia, and Redbird Capital, and if it was, Major League Football or whatever it is, I wouldn't be worried about it. I'd be like, yeah, they got this. And they might even be able to play it out, this 5-year program that the idea that they have. I just think with the XFL looming in the background and how big they're going to go, I don't know if it will last. If they do a year 2, I think that could be it. I don't know. I would love to talk to and get an honest assessment from a ratings perspective. Are they going to be able to do this for 3 years and play in Birmingham? That's just not, I don't even know if I mean, I'm into it this year and we're covering it. I would have concerns if they were to do it again next year. Well, yeah, we're going to play all our games in Birmingham. The way the USFL can get around it is play one game a week. Just one game in Pittsburgh, play one game in Houston. I don't think they're going to do that. Or they split them up. We'll just kind of have to see. That's the biggest problem with the league right now. Tommy B says the XFL city should be Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, I'm thinking about setting up shop down in Jacksonville at some point, so I'm all for that. But I think Orlando is going to be the spot. David says, anyone else have Danny Garcia's news tease announcement fatigue? There are so many questions and calendars running out of runway. I thought we would know more by now. I think what we had talked about earlier in the show, something that Mike Mitchell has talked about. Oh, by the way, smash the like button if you like football, if you like what we're doing here. Let's get this show up to 60 likes, please. Can we get 60 likes on this thing? I think they were waiting they're just following the same timeline. And I think they're waiting. This is the week. I think it's TV. I think it's TV this week, and it's going to be big. I think ESPN. I would love to see ESPN, ABC, NFL Network, and Netflix. That's what I want to. That's what I think those would be. That would be good for me. It would be stunning if CBS came on board, and it would be stunning if NBC was like, hey, they already added Young Rock for season 3, so they're good there. That would be a big tell if NBC jumped on board. But I think they've had this stuff planned out way in advance. I don't think NBC is on board. I think NBC might have gotten wind of what the other players were doing and didn't want to miss out on the football. So maybe CBS to get back in the game. But I don't have fatigue. We just have to be patient. I mean, we're basically on schedule. Matt says, Call. Paladin says, wow, 01 XFL personnel. Chris says, for reals, what did MLFBVP say to investors? Give me money. That's probably what he said. Paladin Demo says, begin sacrificing your folding tables. There you go. There. All right, let's take another quick break, and then we're going to be back to more social right after this. Stay tuned, my friends. What's up, XFL Army? If you're a fan of the XFL News Hub and you have a telephone, which I know all of you do because you're sitting there playing on your phones all the time, then why not download the XFL News Hub app? That's right, it's on iTunes. It's on Android. We have an Android version and an iPhone version of the XFL News Hub app. So what do you get? You get the latest news from XFL News Hub, the premier source of XFL news in the universe. Plus, you get push notifications when we have breaking news. You will be the first to know. You can leave a comment on some of the news right from your phone. Plus, you get this podcast on your phone as well. Remember, you can leave us reviews on the Google Play Store or iTunes. It links to other social media, our other social media accounts, and so much more. Be in the know. I know you're on your phones. People are on their phones all the time. They never get off their phones. So why not just download the XFL News Hub app on your Android or iPhone today? All you need to do is go to the Google Play Store or iTunes and just type in XFL News Hub. That's XFL News Hub. Download our app on your phone today. All right, my friends, let's get to the Facebook. Danny Garcia talking about teasing that big XFL announcement. Larry says, hopefully a merger with the USFL and eventually CFL to create a terrific spring football league in North America. Ricky says XFL and USFL, a merger next spring, 2023. That could be a possible. I don't know. That's, some conspiracy theories would be like, yeah, the USFL put it up so that they could sell their league to the XFL. I don't know. And I don't know what's going on with the CFL. I mean, we'll be covering we're covering on that on CFL News Hub. Their whole strike that's going on now. I don't know, but it would be fascinating to find out if the problem with the CFL is, I believe, is that there's just not enough money. They don't have the money. And that's what it kind of boils down to. Now, some people are like, oh, the CFL makes $300 million a year and the teams are up. Then you have Randy Ambrosi saying the teams lose money. every year. You know, you don't know who to believe. I mean, the Elks said they lost over $1 million last year, and everybody's throwing out all these numbers, but no one really knows for certain. I would love to see an audit of the league's finances to really know what's going on. I'm in the camp because talk is cheap based on your actions is another thing. I don't think I think that the league is just can't survive. I mean, it has survived, and it could survive, outlast the XFL and USFL. The problem is going to happen is what's coming down the road for with the CFL when it comes to if the XFL and USFL establish themselves and both leagues run for the next couple of years. How is that going to impact talent with the league? But they're also bringing up a bunch of homegrown Canadian talent. But, you know, maybe would the XFL steal guys that, you know, would rather play? I just don't know. Everything is so up in the air with spring football. We will definitely know where we're headed in the next 2 or 3 years. And we'll just hang out with us and we'll be along for the ride. Kerry Gordon joining XFL's Vice President of Health. Bruce says, will the Defenders be playing in D.C. in 2023? Why the mystery? Please don't let the owner of the other less popular team somehow ruin this for us. Redskins fans need a new team. Ours was killed off. Well, the Commanders, Bruce, from all intents and purposes, I believe, especially with my stroke in the league, because they all know me, Defenders will be playing in D.C. I have no doubt about that. The Beer Cup, the Beer Snake, come on. I cannot wait to go there. And that Beer Snake is going to be starting to build before they even kick off the ball. Like as soon as everybody get there 30 minutes early and let's just get the Beer Snake. Maybe that's what I'll do. The first game back, hopefully I'll get my season tickets in the same spot. The first game back, I'm going to be like, okay, everybody, we'll put on all our social media stuff, get to the stadium early. We're going to build that Beer Snake and have it completed from the top to bottom before they kick off. But actually, before halftime. That will be the goal. We have to establish that we are back. And maybe, as long as, can you throw soda in a Beer Snake? No one's going to know. I'm not a beer drinker, gluten-free, friends. Maybe they'll have cider beer. We'll find out. Nashville Speedway president Eric Moses, who we interviewed on this program. You want to check out that? That was a couple of years ago. We're so excited about him and about working with the Nashville Super Speedway. He was elected to the Cumberland University Board of Trustees. Very cool. Congratulations to him. Nathan Justice says he's done wonders for this track and facility. I was glad that he went around and asked the local residents of Wilson County on how the track should be used. He's brought in multiple national car shows and various events besides just the LI 400. Bruce says, will the Defenders play in 2023? Bruce, we already got to you there. So congratulations, Eric Moses. Great guy. He was on the podcast. You can go to our interview section. And we talk all about those first couple of games in D.C., and it was a really good interview. I got a lot of feedback from Washington Post and all the other local D.C. outlets. Got a lot of interesting things from that. Major League Football announcing its fourth coach. Joseph says press releases are all about all MLFB does. This is a dude running a league out of a house in Florida through a P.O. box. And there you have it there. And of course, that's that. Yeah, okay. Terrell Owens says his FVS performance shows he's ready for an NFL comeback. Don says no matter what, I'm still a fan of his at 48. I wouldn't bet against him. I need to reach out to Fan Control Football, and I would love to was T.O. going to play in the XFL? Because I'm just going to go to my deathbed. The rumor, yes, it came from me. And I've explained this many a times, but his name was on the sheet for the summer showcase. And it was him. It was his college, wide receiver, his name, all of it. I put it out there. It run amok. And then all of a sudden, the document from the same server that the next document came from had the name removed. So I am all about that T.O. was thinking about playing for the XFL. That is just my opinion. I'm sticking to it. And I got heat from all sorts of people. And I'm like, yo, like I made it up. I pulled it from their server, from the XFL server. It was on their server. Anyways, Danny Garcia, co-owner and chairwoman, teased about the announcement. Scotty Bursner says, Kakal Battlehawks. Yep. I hope they announce cities and teams because I've been waiting for the last 2 years already. I hear you. Sundarthepi, possibly cities and their coaches. Now, Awesome. I hope the cities and everybody wants the cities. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I believe if anything, it would be a TV deal, not cities, my friends, not cities. I hate to break it to you. On to the YouTube of last week's show. What do we got going on here? James says, in your opinion, do you think too many spring leagues will do damage to the concept of spring league as a whole? Do you want to see one survive before even thinking about planning others? Yes, a lot of the, somebody's going to survive. As of right now, I would give my money. I was telling people if I had $1 million, who would I give it to? Would I give it to Danny? Would I give it to Fox Sports? Or would I give it to Danny Garcia and The Rock to make me money and Redbird Capital? Or MLFB and Frank Murtha? I would give my money, or Fan Control Football. I would give my money in this order. The Rock, Danny Garcia, Fan Control Football, Fox Sports, MLFB. That's who I would give my money to. Fan Control Football has something going on there. And I think when you watch the games, it's all young people. Video game 20-somethings. That's the kind of audience that they're dying for. I expect that Fan Control Football will have a better, they're on NBCLX and DAZN or whatever it's called. I think they'll have a better deal in the next year or two where you could see. I don't see the games on Peacock, live on Peacock. That would be the next stage. It's just that NBCLX, which who really freaking looks at that anyways? It's not even it's like a kind of, that's like the only thing on it. Like no one sits there and watches that. But Fan Control Football is on there, and that's where I watch it. Dave Valentine says, I want the XFL and USFL to work together. They can survive if they can combine their power. That could be something down the road, but the USFL, it's for me with the USFL, if they repeat what they did this year, then they're done. Then I don't think it will make it. If they play, using the Mark theory, play one game in a hometown each as season 2, and then do more in season 3, then I think they're fine, and it's game on. But the XFL could burn out real quick and spend all this money in Redbird Capital, and the Rocket Danny Garcia is like, yo, this is way too expensive. We're out. But from what we were told, they weren't going to go live with this thing unless they had a TV deal with some real money behind it. Maybe we'll find out tomorrow. David Valentine, XFL, just don't rig your games like the NFL does. Oh, give me a break, David. The NFL does not rig its games. Let's have a true champion, not face of the league QB who referees help win with the tuck rule lining up. Okay. Everything is a conspiracy. Next, I'm giving that a thumbs down. Be quiet. Ron, I heard another podcast that AF is coming back. Some person gets the rights to AF and team names and on Instagram. Don't know if it's true. Did not hear that at all. I hope it is true the AF has come back. They're not heard anything about that. Though it would be interesting if the XFL purchased the rights just for the naming. But even the naming was kind of meh. But yeah, but Birmingham has a team. And I don't see them showing, packed stadium, you're talking $10 tickets for adults and kids get in for free. And that place is not packed. I thought they were like a super football town. They're a football area. That's the thing. The juice is just not there. It's just not there. But maybe they're the slow build. Slow build is their model. We'll see what happens. The Equalizer. Is there a time frame when the cities and XFL will be announced? August. August. BES USA. The NFL is cooked under Cardale. It would be best for the XFL to be distanced from. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Clint, I agree. XFL and USFL should work together. They need each other to survive. The CFL playing the same 9 teams over and over is rather boring. That's a critique that I have with the CFL. What I would like to see, if the XFL can establish itself, and if the XFL is, their season is done, February, March, April, if the XFL and CFL do a player sharing stuff, Like, hey, like some of our guys are going to go to the CFL. That would be something. The CFL, they're just kind of, and I have no problem with the 3 downs and all that other stuff. I don't think the CFL should do 3 down or go to 4 downs at all, because there's already leagues that do that. This gives them the unique flavor, and it provides a different opportunity for different style of players, where 4 down football provides an opportunity for specific size players, where, there's different opportunities for football players that maybe mesh better with the CFL rules versus the XFL, NFL rules. But a player sharing thing would be interesting. Coaches, referee, I don't know. That's kind of where they could start their relationship. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully they get this done. I'm super excited about, I'm excited about the CFL season. There's no question about it. Full training camp, everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mike Mitchell's talking about Sam Shady Sports. If you want, at Sam Shady Sports, if you want to get on that list. So Mike Mitchell says roughly 900 players worked out for the XFL's 8 showcases back in 2019. About 160 players who did end up on XFL rosters in 2020, almost 18%. It's not a lock that the players in the 6 showcases this time will make the XFL 2023, but it gives them a shot. That's an interesting number. I wanted to put that out there. Our man, Mike Mitchell. Dean, Faithful Dean at Faithful Dean Rock. There's a chance that you get the best specialists out there to represent the XFL and show the world the importance. Check out, hope you can come out as a specialist showcase. There is, Dean. Look at the FAQ. They're going to come out with a specialist showcase at some point. There is his one as well. All right, let's get to a phone call, shall we, before we wrap it up?
Hey, Mark. And for the audience as well, because I think this will drive some discussion. Hey, Mark, this is James just calling in. A question that I had for you specifically, and for the audience as well, because I think this will drive some discussion, get people talking. So, all of these alternative football leagues, including the XFL, always talk about innovation. We're going to be different. We're going to be innovative. We're going to innovate the rules, innovate the way the game is played, innovate the way the fans have access to the game. As someone who's followed these spring leagues, what are some innovations that you would like to see that are like a must-see in the XFL? You specifically, and you could even poll the audience, because I feel like it would be interesting. I'm just wondering, what are some innovations you specifically would love to see in this league? All right. Thanks. Bye.
All right, James checking in. Innovations that I would like to see. That's a great question. I think the biggest thing, and really, I think the USFL has done, the United by Football show. Let's learn about these guys. Let's learn about their backstory. I mean, some of those guys played in the XFL. Scooby Wright, love him. I would love to meet Scooby Wright in person now. After seeing him on the show, some of the, Darius Victor was out there. He's a guy that played in the XFL. The behind the scenes thing, a lot of people are talking about, and I haven't watched this F1 Formula thing. Anybody chat room, you guys watch it on Netflix? It's gotten a lot of buzz about like a behind the scenes kind of thing. And I'm hoping the XFL does something, go into somewhere where that audience is, and they're on Netflix. And that's how you tap into that. If you could do live sports on Netflix, that's innovative. If you're like, hey, Netflix, we're the first sports to be on Netflix live. That's huge. Cop that with a TV show that gives you access behind the scenes to get to know the players, to, their backstories, and they know, the XFL knows character development. When you watch Jumanji, like, you like The Rock's character, you like Kevin Hart's character, you like Jack Black's character, and then that's kind of you're rooting for them. They know character development. In sports, the characters are everywhere. They are everywhere. And football players. Everybody wants to meet the football players, and then to get to know them on that personal level really makes things more, it becomes more, you get more close to the product. If there's like a personal relationship with, knowing these players and stuff like that. And, and I've seen guys on, United by Football, and I'm like, oh, I totally want to meet that guy. He seems cool. I want to see his, wow, he's got a cool interesting backstory. Like that's the kind of thing, that's the innovative thing that the NFL is tries to do a little bit. That aspect of it, again, these people are going to whine and cry. NFTs, that technology, using some new technology with the blockchain. I'm all about that kind of stuff. Those are innovative ways, the camera angles, and Fox is like, oh, we have, 1,000 cameras. It's like, who cares? Like, I really don't care that much. And they're learning, and that's a way to kind of flush things out. Like, I don't care about how many cameras on. It's kind of I'm a technology guy, an access kind of guy, where, really kind of get fans closer to the game, get fans closer to the players to really get to know them. Because those players, could sell merch and could sell T-shirts, and, they're basically, each individual player in the USFL or XFL is in effect their own influencer. And influencers, like us here at XFL News Hub, are becoming more valuable than like TV stars. If you think about it, the way things are kind of going now, that pendulum could switch, but there's a value, and you have tons of them in these leagues. You think about, Tom Brady is the mega influencer, but, even players like, not at that Tom Brady level, but NFL players, if you're just in the NFL, you're essentially an influencer. A lot of these YouTube accounts or Twitter accounts, NFL players, they got hundreds of thousands of followers. Tap into that kind of stuff, and the technology aspect of things. I think that's where you will succeed. But I love the great question. Great question, my friend. James checking in. Let's see. Skip says, great news. Best thing. Oh, talking about the XFL. Mike Mitchell had XFL coaches and GMs rumored to join the league next. Skip says, great news. Best thing on USFL are the commercials. I've got to change the channel by then. Ouch. That is not very nice. Jeremiah says, oh, I don't have to read this on the podcast, but I'll read it. I have been looking for an outlet to talk XFL with other true fans, so I could really get into your podcast in the near future. Cool. I do think your podcast is great. Thank you very much. The topic I'm curious about is why we are now, it seems, always ignoring XFL 1.0. Don't get me wrong. It was bad compared to the 2.0, but I've been a fan since the beginning, from the Chicago era, and still huge Enforcers fan. Absolutely love John Avery. I remember John Avery. I believe there are a lot of opportunities to bring back some of the other stars from both XFL runs. Would love to see the XFL have its own show with them talking football. Just got to add that 2.0. I choose the Defenders. Anthony, the Landlord Johnson, baby. Yeah, Anthony Johnson. Love that guy. Me too. And that's another guy that you could build a TV show around, him. But a great question. Thanks for the email, Jeremiah. That's the other confusing thing about and I don't want to bash on the USFL because the ratings are good. Play is getting better. We cover it. I'm just kind of my honest take, because people ask me all the time. They know, I wear the hats. They know me, and I always get questions about this stuff. And I'm like, I'm just confused. It's just the juice is not there. And I think the problem is, the one is the stadium situation, which is part of the business model. The other one is embracing the past. I think you lost a lot of juice because being very corporate-y and being like, well, we're the inaugural USFL. We're using the names and the logos, but we're not the old USFL. It's a very confusing and phony message that everybody can see. Now, I believe that it's because of legal problems. I think if they can clear the league up problems with whoever those were in the past, then embrace it. That also goes on with the XFL 2001 era. They wanted to distance it. XFL, Oliver Luck, and others wanted to distance them. That's why there was no cheerleaders. That was a definite, hey, we're not doing the, and it took a lot of groundwork by Oliver Luck going on these shows to be like, we're not the gimmicky XFL anymore. But we're so beyond that now. I think it would be fantastic, an XFL championship game to bring these guys in. Same with the USFL, like embrace the past. that will generate interest in your fans more, because you have like this guy, Jeremiah, talking about an Enforcers fan. It was only played for 1 year, but they were still into it. So bringing them back, doing retro jerseys, bringing back, Rod Smart, even though I think he's had some kind of personal issues. Remember, he was missing for a while, and then he was found. I don't know what that is. Bringing some of those old players back, talking about that era. I mean, we interviewed somebody on, for the XFL 1.0 era, look in our interview section. It was really interesting to hear his stories about, the initial kickoff, diving for the ball, not doing the kickoff, all that stuff. So I think I think you got to embrace the past. No question about that. Finally, Paladin Demo says the LA Chargers released their arc for the season. I can't play it because it's on YouTube, but what's interesting, it's all anime. It's like this anime thing for the LA Chargers. It's funny. My son I'm like, all right, he's big into anime. So One Punch, he says, that's the one I watched. I watched an episode trying to do the anime thing to kind of get into that stuff. But it was a cool, like, little anime thing as well. All right. Finally wrap it up with the chat room. Theodore says, I think Houston can handle 2 teams, especially if one of them is in Birmingham. If the XFL team does well, people will gravitate towards the team. I agree there. David says, if the Wildcats do move to Las Vegas, per reports, do you think they keep the name and tweak the logo and LV? Love the show, man. Thank you very much. I think they will change the logo. I think do not call them the Wildcats, because I believe to keep New York Guardians, LA Wildcats, keep that in your back pocket. And if things work out in the next year or two, you can move those franchises back there. Do you have any comments on, Mohammed says, do you have any comments on MLFB? Yeah, that's my comment there. Greg says, my prediction, most UFL teams will go home, especially New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Tampa, Houston, Michigan, Philly, and New Jersey are problematic. I hope they do. Then it's game on. If they finish the season and they're like, we're coming home and this is what we're doing, and they announce that, in August, then it's game on. And these 2 leagues are going to go at it, and we'll see who comes out on top. If they do the same thing, I don't know if it's going to work. AJPS12 says, any news on XFL video game coming out? Everybody talks about XFL video game, CFL video game, USFL video game. Be fantastic to do. What I would do if I'm the XFL, USFL, well, USFL wouldn't do it, but the XFL has partnership, friendship, talking buddies with the CFL. Be like, let's partner together. It's just the rules. The engine would be the same. You think about NFL has 32 teams. Let's make a game together and partner and have you can play an XFL season all you want, or you can play the CFL season, or you can play both. Let's do it. Especially with The Rock's connection to the CFL. But that's not happening for a couple of years. There's no doubt about that. We'll see I doubt you'll even get fantasy football, but you will have fantasy football on News Hub Fantasy, so don't worry about that. Smash that like button, by the way. We're at 19 likes. Let's get to 20. I want to get 60 for this show. Wrap it up real quick. Stod Speed Tech. Also, USFL doesn't inform viewers of player transactions. You have to Google a player and wiki of them. Yeah, but again, their excuse will always be that, hey, we're at an incubator stage, and this is just the beginning. So that's kind of why. XFL is coming to Orlando City. Hiling, yeah, that's the rumor. Apparently, keep Wildcats, change the city. Boy, we'll see about that, my friends. All right, my friends, that's it for this week's show. We went long. We'll go back to the USFL show and CFL show, all that stuff coming back next week. But this one, between getting all the XFL stuff in and, me trying to get back at my game after my surgery. But it's good. I should be ready to rock and roll next week. If you want to be on the podcast, email podcast@XFL News Hub with your thoughts, record an MP3 or video on your phone, play it on next week's show, leave us a review, watch us live 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday on the program. And that is it for me, folks. Thanks for tuning back in, getting back into the groove. I was super excited to talk to you guys about all this news. Stay tuned to XFL News Hub. We will go live. If we get TV deals, we will do a live show. There's no question about that. And if it's anything really, really good, like logos or teams or something, we will get on that as well. All right, my friends, God bless you all out there. Stay safe out there. Mahalo, especially to all my friends in Hawaii. I would love to be there for your event. Fly me out. I have no problem with that. And I will see you all Later.